Hey guys, today I'm going to do something completely different. I'm going to do a pool workout for 8-ball on a bar table. It's a specific workout. You can make it as long as you want, but I'm going to go through it. I'm going to talk you through the mistakes. I'm going to talk you through the thought process of all the different shots. It's probably the easiest way. I could just give you the exercises and you can work on them, but if you see me go through one workout, just stick with this whole video and you'll see the different thought processes and the corrections that are made. So this is for you guys that want to get better. It's not, this takes a little time, but if you stick with this, it's like working out. This will improve your game in general, but for sure, this is tailor-made for bar table 8-ball as well. At the beginning, we're going to start with stroke building. Do not skip these strokes. They're the foundation of all pool games. And then we're going to go into specific 8-ball drill, along with a couple of shots that win you games that come up a lot. So we're going to put that all into one little video as I talk through it, and you guys can then start to use this to improve. I know Vegas is coming up for a lot of you players at the end of May. There's some spring league finals, stuff like that, or some of you just had finals and now you got the bug to try and get better and work on some stuff. So this is really good for bar table game. Obviously it's good for all games because it allows you to improve your stroke, your accuracy, your alignment, but also in your 8-ball thinking. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through all of it, and then if you guys feel free to comment, I'll answer any questions, or you can message me directly if you have any questions about this. But here's exactly how this workout goes. You can make this tailor-made to your skill level. There's harder, and easier versions. You'll see as I do that. I'll name them both. But also, what I want you can make it longer if you want. But this is the bare minimum that you need to do to start really improving. Okay? So we're going to start with 15 balls. Do not skip this step. I don't care if you are a great player. I don't care. This will still improve your game. I don't care if you're playing well. This will ingrain good habits. So you take all 50. What I want you to do is take the stripes. Only the stripes. This is just like a warm-up, but it's still, don't skip the warm-up like in any of it. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stripes, okay? Take the 9. What I want you to do, put it on the spot. I want you to step into this. Your goal here is to follow it dead straight through with a level stroke so that you can see this getting draw all the way to the pocket. When you see it go dead into the pocket, what I want you to do is stay perfectly still. After that, look where your cue is aimed, and go 1, 2, 3. The whole drill, there's always going to be 1, 2, 3 as you're still to ingrain staying still. So I'm level, I'm going to tip low, so what I'm going to do is 1, 2, 3. Bring this back up, step back out, don't just jump in. So I find the line, we did a video on that, your pre-shot routine, you find the line. Step into it. I want you to stay perfectly still, but watch the ball. 1, 2, 3. As you get better, what I want you to do is I want you to find a spot where you follow through. My follow through was about here. I want you to put it at least there. You take a little mark and you go a little further. Now what I want you to do is I want you to afterwards really push through that. Only worry about it after you've done 1, 2, 3 and stay still and see where your Q-tip is. For some of you, you're going to have a hell of a time not jabbing back. This will eliminate your jab. You can't do this enough. This is how you all shots are a component of this. Following through and staying perfectly still. So 1, 2, 3. Step back. Okay? You see how I'm getting to here? Don't look at that till the end. You want to look at the pocket, the ball going in, and make sure that you're getting, if you poke it and you don't, watch what the 15 ball can do. See how it transitioned over? That means by the time it got there, it had no backspin. It had no stroke on it. If it's still hydroplaning with backspin as it snaps into the back of the pocket, you've delivered a perfectly good stroke. So watch the difference. 1, 2, 3. I want you to do at least the stripes to warm up. You can do this as much as you want. If you want to set a time instead, 10 minutes, then just do this for 10 minutes. It's a warm up, but it's conditioning yourself to stay still and a perfect follow through. 1, 2, 3. And I'm at least to there, okay, whatever. But what you don't want to do is go to here and pull back. This will give you a direct, smooth follow through. So you pick a number there. Then what I want you to do is I want you to take all 15 balls and you do one rack of perfect stick shots. So don't skip. These are the foundation of your pool game. Do not skip this. So there's a couple ways to do this. You can do 15 and see how many you do perfectly. Perfectly means this. If you're just a regular player, you put a thing here, it's a perfect stick shot. You could start from this diamond and then move on to here. I always do it from the second. I find obviously for me the first a little easy, but the second diamond to the second diamond, it's perfectly straight. Now what you want to do is stop this ball dead. It doesn't drift right, it doesn't drift left. What it does, if you've done this perfectly and you've stopped it dead, what I want you to do, same concept though, is go 1, 2, 3. Step back, okay? Then you go to number 2. You see how that stopped? That would be 1. If you want to shoot in 15. If you miss or don't do perfect, that's fine. Go on to the next ball, because then you can start tracking your progress. How many perfect shots you do in 15, okay? But you want to shoot at least 15. That was 1. I step in. I want a nice, smooth follow through, and I'm staying perfectly steady. 1, 2, 3. Now you notice I got to stop, but it drifted to the right. So it wasn't perfect. My inclination, and this is why this is so powerful to do this, it's always to overcut it slightly. So my compensation, I know that it's my alignment with my dominant eye. I just know that. So I have compensated by I sight slightly over my left eye to compensate for that. So if I hit a perfect one, it stops dead. It's so hard to make it perfect, but that's what we're striving for here. But no matter what we're doing, see that time we're compensating and went to the right. That's okay. We're going to go to the next ball. Regardless of what happens here, we're getting a perfect follow through and going 1, 2, 3. So no matter what, we are ingraining fundamentals, staying still, following through. So we step into the shot. We're visualizing a perfect stroke, a perfect follow through. 1, 2, 3. So drifted here. Again, it depends on how perfect you want to be. It didn't hit the rail, so maybe we would say we would count that. That's up to you. Doesn't matter. We're grooving out. Perfectly straight stroke. And we want to do all 15. Stick with this. Don't get bored. Every shot is the winner. Every shot, game winner. Drifting out. So I'm overcompensating, which is fine. So again, we might make a slight correction. We really want to hit a perfect stick. You'll know it. And when you do it, there's a powerful feeling of knowing that you did the perfect stroke. You'll feel it. You'll see it. There you go. 1, 2, 3. You see that? That's the perfect stroke. What we want is to groove out. Now, there's a more advanced version of this. As you get good at this, there's a perfect stick shot with touch that I'm gonna show you as we get to the second part of this rack. If you, as you start to get this, your alignment, your stroke, your stick, I'm gonna show you something that's next level for your game. You great players, you good players, I'm gonna show you something that you're gonna have a hard time with, but wow, will it ever improve your stroke with touch. I'll show you that when I do the strikes. So for now, I'm really trying to focus here. 1, 2, 3. You notice how it's stopped perfect because the spot is here and the cue ball is right behind it. So now what we're going to do, this is the 8 ball. There's a couple of ways you can do this too. Me, if I miss this 8 ball, I have to do it all over again. I don't recommend that as you get going, but it puts a level of pressure. You can't miss this 8 ball. I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm on the 8 ball, but it's just like another shot. I'm visualizing a perfect follow through. And I'm sticking this ball. Perfect. 1, 2, 3. So now I take the 8 back out and I do the strikes. Don't skip this. You can't do this enough. This is how you're going to gain confidence to know you can make every shot, because your alignment, your stroke it doesn't matter if it's a cut shot, it's still following all of these execution techniques. So again, we're going to do it here. Now, I'm going to show you part 2. I don't recommend you start with this. What you want to do as you get more, you want to make this no right, no left, and you want to replace it, not stick it. So you're perfectly straight with touch, not further, not back. Stick with one rotation. This is next level kind of, when you can start doing this, there's a lot of reasons why, not just that this, how difficult it is, but it's also the perfect stroke. Because if you were to get the stroke that I deliver this through, dead center, if I wanted to draw the ball back, all I would do is that same stroke, you never have to hit it harder, and just go a tip lower or one more tip lower to draw back. But this is the hardest you'll ever have to hit a shot. I step into it, so I'll try and get off a few. I still have a real hard time getting this perfect. I almost hit it, but it drifted just, so it came so close. I had to touch hard, but it drifted off. So I'm really bearing down here. I'm really seeing if I can, it's the same thing. But don't skip this 1, 2, 3 and follow through. 1, 2, 3. See it just roll over. See it roll over a hair more. But that is the feel, the touch. This dead center delivery stroke is the foundation. You just don't have to get it harder than this, because then I will have the confidence to just go a tip low and it will draw almost effortlessly if I wanted a nice draw stroke. So we're not worried about the draw for now, we're worried about developing this dead center, deft touch. See, so there, obviously pinched the pocket and it drifted out. Reverting a bit back to my natural inclination to be pulled in this direction. So I'm going to compensate a bit, just get over that left eye, and what I want to do is just find a perfect touch and stroke, but it's always a follow through. 1, 2, so I had the feel there, but still drifted off. That's okay. Get back to here. Stick with this video, because every shot's I'm going to explain a few little things that'll ingrain more into you to show you what it takes to become an absolute killer on a table. I'm telling you, you groove out a stroke like this, this is how you gain confidence. Because I know that as long as I follow through and stay calm, still 1, 2, 3, drift it off. So you can see how when I'm talking, I tend to divert back to my natural inclination. It's only when I'm gonna try and do one without talking here, and just where I'm just bearing down, I'm doing exactly what I want. So I overcompensate, which I would rather that for me because it knows I'm making corrections. So now, last one, up to you. Need to put on a lot of pressure. I don't think you need this at the beginning because you're just working your game. You can't miss this ball. So it's just a beauty. It takes all. I want a perfect stroke here. I want everything to stay still. 1, 2, 3. Overcompensate. That's okay. So that is what we're gonna call that's your warm up, your stroke building, okay? It's about 15 minutes, but you could see how in 15 minutes you can really move out a powerful stroke. What I would recommend then, I'm not gonna do it here, I'll just do a couple, is after you do that, because stuns and rolls on a bar table are very, very important. So what you wanna do is the same thing. If you have time, what I want you to do is do the second part of this, which is to roll this. I want you to sewer this. So I want you to make this. So it should take about 15 minutes or less. That'll be a half an hour. If you just did that part of the workout, your game, if you did that every day, you'd be amazed in like 30 days what this will do for your stroke. Right, so the second part is the exact same thing. What we want to sewer is this is dead straight. It can only be done if everything is perfect. 1, 2, 3. Get back there. Get back on this. You do this with 15 balls, and then we will move on. Once we do a few of those, again, see what your record is. See how many times out of the 15, how many you do perfectly, which is a sewer. A lot more difficult than it looks. One thing to make it, it's another thing. See, a hair of a cheat, no good. Set it back up because we're looking for perfection here. We're looking for, it's okay. I mean, it would count in the game. We want this to be perfect. We want to follow through. But the beauty about this is even if we don't hit it right, we are learning how to correct. We're seeing how the misses go. See, so that time I overcompensated a hair, but we're learning off of this. This is why this is so powerful, because only a perfect one counts. Step into this. This is a very powerful roll drill. You'll start to feel this when you stick with this. When you stick with this, you're going to feel the accomplishment of doing it because it's the perfect stroke. You start getting the confidence that you can deliver a perfect stroke on command, and guess what? That's how you start to play real good pool. Doesn't matter who you're playing against. I got the confidence to know, doesn't matter what equipment I'm using, I step in, it's all the same. I'm looking for an absolute perfect stroke here. So there, I did it. Take it, but it didn't rush there, but that's okay. So you do 15 of those. That is your stroke building part of it. You can't do that enough. Trust me, I know I'm repeating myself here, but that's the foundation of your whole game. Every shot, even if it's a cut shot, is either going to be sliding, drawing, or rolling. Even if it's a cut shot, if I need to slide along this line, I'm doing the same thing. I know that I shouldn't miss because I'm just delivering it in a straight line. All shots are straight shots, in theory. That's why we're building that. So now comes to the 8-ball part of it. That's a stroke builder. You need that. You need to be able to roll, stop, stun. So the second part of this is what I'm going to call the sevens drill. But what I want you guys to do is start at your level. So you take 7 strikes in the 8-ball. What I want you to do, this is going to teach you a couple of things. Number one, it's going to teach you how to finish games, and it's going to teach you how to pick the correct patterns, the easiest way out. I'm gonna run a couple of racks, but what I want you to do is you're gonna play the ghost. For those of you that aren't familiar with that, it's, if you do it, you get a point. If you don't, the ghost gets a point. It's a race to 5. So you gotta do this 5 times, and each time, this is like a real match. You're playing in a match. We're trying to simulate match play. So we just rack it up. It's like 9-ball without the back ball. Okay? So what we're going to do here, I would recommend, this is something to, a little bonus here is, you're still breaking, okay? So what I want you to do, I want you to do just like if you break from over here, but it's a head ball break. Your goal here is to have the cue ball not touch the right or the left. So that's the goal. It's to stop it dead or come back a bit. But if you hit it dead and imparted perfect energy, you start by not hitting this that hard. Then you can add speed as you get. So it was a hair off. So you're trying to, now I made a few balls, you spot them, because you're trying to do 7s, okay, 7 and out, which is the max that can be if your player were to run a table, miss, and give it back to you, the max. Now, what I don't want is you to start at 7, unless you start at 3 and 8. Once you do that, you start at 4 and 8. Once you can do that and beat the ghost, you do 5. Don't skip these steps. I don't care if you're a good player. You still gotta ingrain winning and finishing in your head. So you start, I'm showing you the 7s, the last one, but you start with 3 balls and the 8. The reason that would be important is first of all, you're finding what your legitimate level is at. Meaning if you can't, it's one thing to know you can do it, it's another thing to actually do it. So if you were to start with 3 and the 8, you will pick patterns that go stop, stop, stop in the 8. I'm gonna do the last one is 7, because that's the highest one, but don't skip 7. 3 in the 8, then 4 in the 8, then 5 in the 8. Play the ghost or race to 5. What you're gonna wanna do, I'll show you maybe one, where let's say it was something like 3 in the 8. So 3 in the 8, so 3 balls and the 8. What you'll notice right away is you would want this as your key ball, right? You don't want to shoot these last to get to the 8. It can be done, but it's the hardest. So even if there's 7 balls, you should have 3 ball patterns and the 8. 2 of them. So it would start with a ball, a 3 and a 3. That's how I look at running out. If there's an ERO, you still do the same thing, but there's things in the way. But to start with, it doesn't matter if you're a good player. It doesn't matter if you think you're a great player. The thing is, you are ingraining winning. You can't do that enough. So this is how you improve your winning percentage in the league. It's one. I know that I can do this, but it's another thing that do it every time or enough times to beat the ghost. So we need to be around here to win this game on our key ball. So obviously if I make this roll through, that's probably the easiest way. So we could shoot it in here. This seems to be the closest to me. It's up to you. You can shoot it up there. I think you just go like this. What we're going to do, and we're going to still exaggerate all our habits because it is practice, is we're going to go stay still. You're going to find, even someone that, I know I can do this regularly, doesn't mean I don't miss it. Most of the times we'll miss a shot that we know we can make. So it's not about what you can do, it's about what you do more often than your opponent. Staying perfectly still until this ball moves to where it shows. That's the big part of this. I see this, I'm going to roll through until the cue ball has dropped exactly where I picked. So I roll through, I'll watch me exaggerate. And stay still till the cue ball comes. Not only will that help you stay down, but it'll give you feedback if you got to where you chose. On the 8-ball, I don't want to just shoot the 8-ball. We've done a video on this. Pick a spot. Here, I'm going to draw it over to here. It's nothing complicated, a little stun, but I'm still doing something with the cue ball because I've done that on every other shot. 1, 2, 3. So that would be 1-0 for me. You do that till you beat the ghost to 5. I want you to do, don't skip a step. Once you can beat the ghost with 3 balls, then 4 balls. But be honest with yourself. If you're whipping through 3, no problem. And I'm going to do 1 with 7, which is the max. But don't skip steps. I know you can beat the ghost in a race in 3 ball and the 8, but do you? That's the thing. And even if it's simple, you're practicing and grading finishing tables. So don't skip the balls. Earn your way up to 7. So let's say I'm at 7, I'll show you the thought process behind it. I step into this. Maybe I put a little more on it, but I'm still really exaggerating about trying to make the cue ball not hit a rail. See? Over there. So that you're learning. Made a few balls. Another thing is if there's a cluster, let's say this word cluster, move it out. This video is not about breaking out clusters. We can do something for that maybe and how to do that at a later time. In this video is about running out 7 open balls or whatever you're at. So again, the principle here would be right away we're looking at this doesn't go here. So we would want to get rid of this, right? Because the 8's into here, what we wouldn't want to do, if we can avoid it, is use this as our last ball because it is parallel or anything below the 8. You can try, that's another key. You don't want to have to go out of shape to shape. If I make any one of these balls, I'm already on the 8 ball, right? So right away, if I can get rid of this, move over to here, then I know. So I can see my last pattern. I'm getting rid of these 2. So my last pattern will be, once I get rid of these, I can go stop, stop, and stop and be on the 8. You could rearrange your patterns, but you should have at least a plan. So in here, we're going to go, same idea, nice stop shot. This is just a version of what we did to warm up, just a little easier. Right? You just want to follow through, stay still. 1. Okay, so now, you'll notice there's a lot of stuns and rolls. You could stun it up here. I wouldn't, because then you're flirting with here, and then you have to actually get more touch involved. I think we just bump the rail and have the confidence to know, well, we can make this shot because we just did a bunch of them. So you just roll through, bump the rail. To try and get a little closer, to me, is a mistake. We have the confidence we can make this because it's just a down the line shot. So we find the spot here. Just because there's a little angle, it's the same thing. You find the line, you visualize it's going in, and then we're going to want to come right out to here, okay? It would have been nice to be a little less straight, so I get 13. I think I got a little too much angle here. So what I'm going to do is stay perfectly still. So I was able to hold it, that's great. I knew if I didn't, I bumped it, then I would have these balls. Now we're back in line. Make this, and we're out, okay? So you reevaluate. All I do, same thing. Nice stop shot here. Stay still until the ball goes in. What we want to do here, there's a couple ways to do this. I got a little angle, so there's a couple of things we can do. I think we just roll it in, to be honest. I would just roll it in to where I'm right here and have the confidence. If I roll too far, I'm still on the 11. So I make a plan, but I can reevaluate. So again, it's just a nice follow through, bump the rail. So I didn't come far enough. So now, okay, now we got some trouble. I would like to come here. So what do? Got to commit to something here. We're in a bit of 50-50 land here, where this is how you get in trouble. You don't panic. I think the roll here is tough because the sewer's right here. We could jack up, come around. This is kind of a preference thing. We could chop this in the side. I think if we just roll this in, come down to here, and commit to the shot, we're at least know that we're going to have a shot on the 14. Might not be our favorite, but we don't have to do a lot. I know that it's going to just miss the side. So all I have to do is just bear down on making this ball. So stay still, and at least we're out in the open, okay? So we know. Obviously, this is how you got to sometimes come up with big shots when you stay still. This could have been a lot easier. Maybe I picked the wrong pattern there. Maybe there was something better if I would go back and check it. But I'm scrambling. I'm kind of back in line now. I'm still not perfect. What you want to do, find this line. This is just like shot number 1, except for instead of stopping it, the first one we did, it's going to stun down the line and come towards the 8 ball, okay? So what we want is the same stroke. Find this line. You could put a bit outside on this to help it. I don't know if you really need it. You could. I'm just finding this line and stunning down it and have the confidence to stay still. And I just would have been perfect, right? So there, here's what I want you to do. Here's why I want you to set that back up. It's still 1-0. It would be 1-0 for the ghost. I want you to set that exact shot back up until you do it once. That's the beauty of practicing. So we set it back up because you want to ingrain a perfect hit. So I'm over. I didn't hit the thing. I hit over here. Then I'm on here. But any shot that you make that you know you can execute it once, set it back up. Set it back up. So you pick the number. I want you to play the ghost or race to 5. This will ingrain winning. Don't worry about it being 3 in the 8, 3 in the 8. That's great that you're winning. Then it's 4 in the 8. So this is called the 7s drill, which is maximum. So that is, you do this workout for a bit, and I guarantee you on a bar table, you're going to improve. The last thing I'm going to go over with is a couple of game-winning shots in 8 ball that come up all the time, okay? You can't be afraid to practice these. You end the video, or you end your workout by you have to make 3, okay? This here, you put this right here where you were doing your shot number 1, and what I want you to do is I want you to bank this in the corner. And you don't go on to the next shot. There's 3 key shots that win games. The reason I pick these, lots of times an 8 ball or your last strike will be on the rail. If you're confident in banking balls, you do not have to break them out. But the only way you get confident is by practicing. So what you do is you start with one like this, maybe one a little more trouble, that's up to you. But the point here is we're correct. If I miss this bank, I'll see how I miss it. If I make it, I'm ingraining a perfect bank and I'm imprinting a winning stroke. Boom. That's one. Set it back up. Doesn't matter if you do it. Maybe move it over a hair, so you got to cut it a little more. Fine. So I'm making the necessary adjustments. So there, overcut it a hair. Beautiful. Set back down. We're still not doing. We're moving it over here. I compensate. Step into the shot. Boom. Then the last one. Similar shot. And you would do a third. That bank shot, it's not that you know how to do the bank shot. If every day you're doing 3 of them to win the game, that's going to imprint. It's going to give you the self-belief in a game that you will. When that shot comes up, you'll feel more comfy at it, okay? So do a bank shot to win. Then what I want you to do is the same idea. On this dot here, I want you to do a bank shot to win on the side. 3 of them. You end the video by making 3 bank shots on the side. Just hit here. Set it back up. It's about a ball off. Set it back up. and then you can move it over and a bit. But don't just say, I know how to hit it. There, I made the adjustment, I can see it. To make the adjustment. 3 bank shots, and then the final shot. You can do this with the 8-ball too, if you want to just even be more powerful, imprinting, winning the game. This is the last shot of the workout. It's 1 ball off of here. So what I want you to do, this comes up a lot. It's 1 diamond and 1 diamond. Guy leads you along. What I want you to do is you have to cut this in. It's one ball off the first diamond. And somewhere in the kitchen, you can go all the way back to this diamond if you really wanted to get tough down the line. But you start with in the kitchen. So there's 2 components to the shot. You want to be able to have the confidence to know that if I cut this in, I win. But also, so that you have more confidence in where the cue ball is going, you also have some direction and goal. Your goal is to make this bounce back here and get to the middle of the table. If you're short, that's fine. But this is paramount because if you hit it correct, you're going to start to see the natural lines and you're not going to worry about sewering. Also, what's going to happen is you're going to notice that you can hit this full and still make it, or thin and make it, and then you won't have a chance to get back to the middle of the table. So what I want you to do is try and visualize this going in absolutely perfectly. This shot is worth it, believe me. Just follow through. See, so I overcut it. Now it's going there. No problem, make the necessary cut. When you start practicing this shot, you're going to start to really dial in on it, find it, and then you'll have the confidence when this comes up in a game. And it's not just to win a game, but also to know where the cue ball's going. Right there, so I'm right on the line. I would have to hit it harder. Get back up there. That was a better one, right? Put it over here. Let's use the 8-ball again. We want to engrave winning the game, the game winner, without worrying about any sewering and anything, right? Like, same shot, just a hair harder. If you really want, you just gotta visualize it going in perfect. Hitting in between here is harder, but I'm visualizing it hitting in between here. I may hit that one a little thick. I'll try and get one more. If you really wanted to improve your game, you stick with this. You put a piece of paper in here, and you stick with it until you do a perfect one. That is the next level of commitment. You say, I'm not going home until I hit a perfect one. See there? That was very full. No good. But I'm correcting. Missed one thin, one thick, made a few. I'm going to add a little more power on this and try and visualize a perfect stroke. So that one I hit a little thick. I had to speed it a little better. We want to hit right into here. Like I said, it's got to be somewhere in the middle of the table. And you don't go home. If you really want to improve, don't go home until you hit a perfect one. Right somewhere into here. You'll know it. The second you cut this perfectly in the center of the pocket. But the important thing is I'm ingrained in winning the game. See, I hit that a little thick. A little thick. If I hit it thin, it comes in here. So I'll end the video there, but if I were you, if you really want to take the next level, do one of those. You can do it from both sides if you want, but that shot comes up a lot, and when you have thin cuts, you'll be really confident in making them, but more importantly, you have a natural feel of where it's coming off, and you're visualizing going directly in the pocket, not thick, not thin, so that your cue ball is controlled. Okay, so that's the quick little workout. I know this video is a lot longer, but again, this is different. This isn't tip of the day. This is for you 8-ball players that want to know what to practice. It's like going to the gym. If you stick with this and you do the right things, you know, in 30 days, if you do this, you'll be amazed. Just that one shot number one is going to give you the power. I call it shot number one. It's the first shot of the workout. you know, it's just, well, shot number one is actually the stroking right through with that, but they're the same shot, one with a ball, one without. Those two shots give you all the foundation for a really powerful pool game, no matter what game you're playing. Then, of course, you're going to do the 4 and the 8, 5 and the 8, 6 and the 8. That will ingrain finishing tables, which is always important, because it's one thing to know that you can do it, it's another thing to actually do it, okay? And once you're playing a ghost and it's 3-3, and you start to feel real simulated pressure, okay? So again, play the ghost at whatever level. Once you beat the ghost a couple of times, maybe you move on to the next ball. But don't start with 3 and the 8 and beat the ghost a couple of times, because it's easy to not beat the ghost when you're supposed to. That's the frustrating thing with this game. So work on your fundamentals, and then work on the game situations, and then finish off with a few of those banks and cuts, and you're on your way to really improving. Give this workout an opportunity. You can make it as long as you want, you can modify it, but I would say an hour a day, and man, you come to the league an hour early, or you come in on a Sunday, and then you play some games. It doesn't work overnight, but it's like anything. You build this habit in your game, and this will improve your 8-ball game for sure. Okay, so I'll be back with tip of the day. I think 62 we're at, so I'll do that, and those will be just the short fun videos, but this is called the 8-ball bar table workout. Thanks a lot, guys.